All right, let's do this. Not yet. There we go. Now let's do this. It wasn't even that cool last night. But now you can see my bare arm. Trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, I am struggling how to make. I mean, I could just, lore video it, just write the lyrics, that's just my lore, and then turn it into, I'm cute being. From there. I don't know. It's a hard call. It is definitely a hard call. Whether I should just make the original. I got the original lyrics that I wrote for it. I mean, because it is kind of a lore video, but it is. Aspect, which I was thinking about creating it in the Bay area. Where I would actually create something basically out of nowhere. Influenced, but create something, because everybody keeps saying like how nothing is new, nothing is, everything's been done, and how in my lifetime people have basically stolen my ideas. Not necessarily even inspired. I mean, stolen my ideas. And not only did they steal my ideas, but they, when push came to shove, they were asked about it, especially where the inspiration came from. I had to come up with that. And they came up with some cock and bull freaking bullshit. Yeah, they could have just said I was inspired. Turned back to me and asked me to fix it. Or continue it, or whatever, or create something new. And for a while, time the stealing of my art and my writing and anything like that came up was when I was in college, of all places, and we were asked to submit copies of our work, and I picked an unpublished piece that I wrote a long time ago. I was not a person to not share my work. In fact, I was always sharing my work, and people even ended up with copies of it. And a person I shared the work with, who I barely even knew, I think I just wanted to get in her pants, published my writing with all the errors in it too. To this day, I'm surprised that her editor didn't correct a lot of the things, but I wrote it as an emotional piece, so it was literally not meant to be a constructed, not meant to be grammar Nazi'd and everything like that. It was just meant to be like how feelings go, and if you've watched any of these videos, you know that I will shift from one subject to the other, and my brain is working 10 times faster than what I'm able to even say. And with writing, it's 100 times worse. And when you're doing an emotional piece, because I don't have a big handle on my emotions, especially at the time. Because I was 17 when I wrote it. Yeah, I was 17 years old when I wrote it, so I really didn't have a handle on anything. I thought I knew everything. But I didn't really have a handle on how emotions work, so I basically wrote it as an emotional piece and kept it that way. They published it exactly as I wrote it. Almost, well, no, they did change a few things. They changed a few character things, and they cleaned up a lot of the sentence structures for the non-emotional part of it. But what happened when I submitted it, I got high praise from the teacher and everything like that. And they didn't call a teacher, they called a professor, because I was in college at the time, sophomore. And I realized that I didn't have any place to go after I submitted it. Because the idea was that we were supposed to submit this piece, do all the creative writing exercises and everything like that, and then rewrite that piece. And really all I really needed to do was clean it up. After the cleanup, was clean it up and then walk away with my A. Which is while I was in college, all my classes I was doing it like that. The professor tried to submit it to a review, like right at the beginning of class, like right after I submitted it, and it pinged the published work, and I was almost expelled from college for plagiarism. I had to not only convince everybody there that this is my work and how I wrote it and what I was writing about and what it meant. The author claimed it wholly as their own. So I ended up having to go to court. And we settled out of court, so we didn't have like a jury or anything like that or anything like that. But fortunately for me, I did a writer's retreat. Literally, like right before I had already written the piece, but I did a writer's retreat, and at the writer's retreat, they kind of like had all the works done because they did what's known as an anthology. So this is where everything gets really bizarro, weird. That piece was in there. So I ended up having a published work before they published it in their own book. After being listed as a plagiarist and all this other stuff in college, and nobody giving me the time of day, I was not expelled right away, so I was still able to do classes, but they were going through me like a fine-tooth comb, and it sucked. It ruined my college experience. All I wanted to do was just get the fuck out of there. I never really wanted to go to college in the first place, and I felt like, they're not only was I not taking them serious, not only were they not taking me seriously as a writer, I wasn't taking any of them seriously as a writer. My peers. My mentor at the time nearly dropped me. Our relationship became very strained and uneased, and which is why when they moved to another college, they actually requested that I go there to do my master's. But we were no longer master and apprentice. We were no longer Jedis. never knew that there are certain things that you have to do. And I'm not talking about prerequisites in college and stuff like that, but there are, with getting a bachelor's degree and things like that, I never knew that there were other things that you had to do to graduate. In order for me to transfer into the master's program, they said that I had to have, met all those requirements. And even when I took the job that I had with corporate America, one of the prerequisites, because I was in school at the time, was that I had to achieve at least bachelor status before I started the job. And I even told them, I said, I don't even know. I don't know anything. And then they basically hired me with bachelor status. Turns out that I never did the paperwork for my bachelor's degree. Even though I quote unquote walked, even though I had a graduation ceremony and everything like that, I never did all the prerequisites for it. And at this point, I can always go to the college and find out what I needed to do in order to get that done. But I kind of at the point in my life which I don't care. My degree has never brought me anything. It has never opened a door for me. I defended my master's thesis and started doing the prereqs for my doctorate program, and it just became too much with a full-time job, and I ended up dropping. It was expensive too. Of my income was actually going, 70% of the money that I was actually making was going to pay for college. So I was basically living as a poor man, making more money than I am even today. Making a lot more money than I am even today. I lived literally as a pauper because I just never wanted to accrue debt. Corporate America, same thing. Basically, the same thing happened. I was accused of using the resources to help another person with their project, and I had no knowledge that even happened, and the tests that happened went poorly for them. not that they would do that to me. It's that I don't understand why people will take from me. And I don't retaliate or anything like that. I've never needed to. I'm already on some other different thing, because it already had been ingrained in me that creative people aren't the ones getting rich. Those rich people that you guys admire and everything like that, they're all, I call them the Thomas Edison model. Thomas Edison, the magician of Menlo Park, or the wizard of Menlo Park, or whatever he was, I can't remember, was not a creative person. He was not an inventor. He was exactly what I think of most people who are not. He's a taker. He hired for very little money creative people to build things for him, and they built it for him, and they amassed his fortune for him. I've never seen myself as one of the takers. Always seen myself as a creative. Even in my darkest hour, I was still a creative. If I had to model myself after a freaking whack job crazy person that I think mimics me more, it would be Tesla. Nikola Tesla. But I'm not a Nikola Tesla. But yeah, he's one of the few people that, fortunately, here I am using Nikola Tesla. It's because we know who Nikola Tesla is. I am probably one of the people, the other inventors that worked for Thomas Edison and never got named. And I don't even know who they are. Edison did not invent the light bulb. Edison did not invent even the filaments that he's actually accredited for. Somebody else invented them. And he basically was better at marketing. And he created, against Tesla is the reason why we even know who Tesla is. It is the reason why we even know who he is. is the only reason we even know who. That's who he is. Um, but yeah, so that's like a reoccurrence, and I have, like I said, there's been a time, and I've had people offer me, instead of offering me money, they offered me credit, and I was like going, no, no credit, money. And when they said that they didn't have the money to pay me and they'd give me credit, or I want a piece of the work, which nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, a few people have agreed to giving me a piece, but I always did it for the money. And when they were putting on the credits, it would be either yes or no, and it was one of the reasons why, like in some movies, because I actually almost refused to have my name in the credits. It's the reason why they kind of did like a little shout out to me in a lot of movies, and you'd see that there's a bunch of movies that I worked on, or even worked on adjacent, um, that I would either give advice or showed up on set at the last minute, and because I took the money, I kind of refused the credits, but they kind of did a little shout out, which it's one of the it's a kind of like a funny thing when I watch a movie that I worked on. I always sit through the credits just to see that. Even when I know it's there, I still sit through the credits to see that. It's kind of like a really nice, fun thing. Um, and I'm very proud of all the projects that I've worked on, and I'm kind of sad that I feel like I'm the only one that knows that secret now. A lot of people are already gone. My next mentor after my college mentor, um, was very influential in making that happen so that I wouldn't be forgotten. And the truth of the matter is that I'm a little forgotten. um, I when I turned 18, quit high school and traveled, all over the place. Um, I thought I'd made my mark, and I thought I was. I literally didn't think I was gonna live past 18, and that 1 year, 1 year. In 1 year, I did so much. I was hopping and bopping and going and doing and consequences be damned type of thing, and I got to be an artist, and I got to really sink into going back to my roots as a child and paint, and I was painting so much. Um, and my work was up in galleries, not just a gallery. I actually owned a gallery for a short period of time, and all my work was up in that. But my work has been in other galleries, and I'm very proud of that fact. There are probably people, and maybe my work's up, sitting up in an attic someplace. There are probably people that have my work hanging up in their house, a piece they paid way too much for, but they might think that because the artist is, probably dead, like most artists do, I struggle. This is actually, I don't know if it's sad or interesting, but I struggle to know many, especially painters, that are my age. I don't know many. I don't know many sculptors that are my age. And then my peers at the time, they're almost all gone, because almost all of them were so much older than me when I was doing that. I was always the kid. Always, always, always the kid. In those instances, yeah, so I was always kind of the kid around, most of these, like, really incredible artists and creatives and stuff like that. Learning pour techniques and sculpting and working with plasticine, doing silicone molds, doing plaster molds. And really, we have an incredible time. I loved FX. It is what attracted my mentor to me, and when he released any information, I was like a sponge to it. And literally right up until the day he died, he was still teaching me stuff. And I miss him. The one thing that he got wrong up until the day he died, and I didn't realize it, was it was to gain favor from him that people would give me the time of day, that I could be arrogant, that I could be an asshole. And I'm going to say, I delivered. I delivered every time. I backed up my shit. But I didn't have the pull that he had. And I couldn't make it happen. And you know, if he saw where I'm at today, if he saw what I was doing for work right now, if he saw anything, I mean, he believed in me so much that he saw me running freaking, CEO of a studio. He saw me doing that. And there were other factors involved. And I foolishly was arrogant enough to still believe that it would turn around for me. And I always say I've made and lost my fortune 3 times, so, and now I'm at the point where it's like I'm not into making a fortune ever again. Fortunes are lost, and nobody remembers. and it is one of the main reasons why, like, when people, you know, support, and I have nothing wrong with supporting a streamer. I gotta make this clear. I don't have anything against people supporting streamers in any way, shape, or form. I gotta get going. You know, supporting your streamer is like the lifeblood of everything, and I don't have any thing against it. But when people are basically putting their house up for sale and giving more than they can survive on, it makes me crazy, because I always wonder with the people who supported me how many, you know, did that for me. And, you know, this, and, you know, when I was, you know, not working and I had the money that I had, I used it to try to keep the business going, even though there was nothing going on. And I was paying people to do nothing. And it was all gone by the end. All gone at the end. And it amounted to nothing. And now I get to do my art. I get to sell. I have merchandise with my art on it. And to me, that's everything. Just having that is everything. And the people who support it are the people who support it. So it's the reason why I say put Cool Beans in there, because I want to support you. You mean everything. And put Cool Beans in the comments below, and wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a fantastic time doing it. Alright, and I will talk to you tomorrow, and we can continue this conversation. Alright, take care. Bye.